gentlemen, hello and welcome to tonight's edition of the Daily Debate. I'm Nancy Sarah Barakat. Lots coming your way, a number of important issues and events taking place here in Egypt that's up for discussion tonight. Most recently was today's decision by the High Constitutional Court, which ruled unconstitutional an article regulating the election of independent MPs to the Shura Council, that's Egypt's upper house of parliament. According to the ruling, the Shura Council will be dissolved after a new House of Representatives, the lower house of parliament, is formed. Now, on another front, judges have started an open-ended sit-in on Friday, demanding that the Shura Council refrain from discussing the controversial amendments to the judiciary law. The sit-in is being held at the headquarters of the Judges Club, and club head Ahmed Izzind had said last week that judges as well as prosecutors will be participating in the sit-in by going to work in the morning and then joining the sit-in at night until the Shura Council stops its discussions with regard to the laws and amendments to it. And later on in the hour, we'll be discussing something that's been taking place here in Egypt. That's the Tamarrud or Rebellion movement, a petition campaign that was launched in late April in order to gather signatures disapproving of President Mohamed Morsi. Now, the campaign is also calling for early presidential elections. The campaign is aiming to collect a total of 15 million signatures before June the 30th, the day that will mark Morsi's one-year anniversary in power. Those are the two main topics up for discussion tonight, but also something that's also been happening here in Egypt, and that was President Mohamed Morsi's meeting today with the tripartite committee to discuss their final report on the impact of Ethiopia's proposed Renaissance Dam. Now, the joint committee is made up of Egyptian, Sudanese and Ethiopian representatives who have been studying since May of 2012 the impact of the Renaissance Dam on the Nile water and our portion of it. And joining me over the phone is Dr. Khalid Abu Zaid. He is the director of the Egyptian Water Partnership. A very good evening, Dr. Khalid.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. How did you see today's meeting? I mean, we saw President Mohamed Morsi calling on the opposition to join him tomorrow in talks and discussions. How do you see that call by the president?
Well, I think it's an important move to get a unified opinion about the way forward in dealing with the Renaissance Dam and to review the results of the tripartite committee. I hope that there will be a good and productive results in looking at the way forward in dealing with this major issue.
Who do you expect to actually attend these meetings? Who do you think is going to heed that call and actually attend tomorrow's meeting?
Well, I'm not sure really who is invited, but if you're saying that it's the different political parties or the different is it at the political level or at the experts level? Because I think that both entities should be involved. It should not be only limited to just the political parties, but I think that also experts on the topic should be also consulted on the results of the report as well as on the way forward.
Dr. Khalid, obviously, I would like to ask you, how do you see or how do you weigh the repercussions of the construction of the dam?
Well, the first thing that concerned me was the unilateral decision to actually, first of all, to decide to construct such a huge dam without consulting with the affected or possibly affected riparians such as Sudan and Egypt. That really concerned me. The other thing also, which was kind of expected, I mean, if you are constructing a dam, during the process of the construction, you have to do what is called a bypass so that you can put the foundations in place. But what concerned me was the timing of that decision to that bypass when we were all still expecting the results of the tripartite report. The timing also here was another decision that did not respect the other riparian countries.
And that finally, sir,
now,
right.
Now, in terms of the dam itself and its potential impacts, of course, and they're talking about a volume of about 74 billion cubic meters of storage. If you also that's what has been heard about the years that they will fill up that dam, the initial impoundment or filling of the dam. Some say 6 years or so. So we're talking about a reduction of about maybe on average, if we're looking at average flows, a reduction of about 12 billion cubic meters per year of water. That if divided equally between Egypt on one hand and Sudan, north and south on another hand, that means about 6 billion cubic meters of water reduction per year during the assumed or the years of filling of that dam. So there may be potential impacts, and we need to see how it would be dealt with.
Well, finally, Dr. Khalid, how attainable are alternative solutions to preserve or even increase Egypt's water share? Should we be considering more seriously the Jonglei Canal, for example?
Of course, I mean, there are potentials for increasing the water yield of the Nile, the Jonglei Canal, but we have to deal with this issue first. There are talks, for instance, from the Ethiopian side that the storage in the Ethiopian Renaissance Dam will reduce the evaporation losses from High Aswan Dam by an amount of 3 billion cubic meters per year. Well, this needs to be assessed, and maybe if such a reduction or in evaporation losses is attained, then maybe this additional 3 billion could be divided among the 3 countries and also included in what may be considered as an agreement. I think that there should be an official formal agreement whereby Sudan, Egypt, and Ethiopia, and especially Ethiopia, agrees on what exactly the design criteria, the operational rules are going to be, and if there are really some potential benefits in terms of electricity, hydropower, additional savings, as it is claimed, then all this needs to be put in a formal agreement that is available.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Khalid Abuzid, Director of the Egyptian Water Partnership, for speaking to us tonight on the Daily Debate. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a quick look at the following report highlighting the sit-in that's been going on since Friday at the Judges Club premises, and then we'll be back with our guests to further discuss that topic and today's ruling on the Shura Council. To stay with us.
Around 30 judges announced an open-ended sit-in on Friday against the Shura Council's discussion of proposals on amending the Judicial Authority law. Late May, the Shura Council, Egypt's upper house of parliament, voiced its initial approval on the Judicial Authority draft law. The law was referred to the Council's Constitutional Committee to present it to different judicial bodies. The Shura Council said the recommendations of these bodies will be taken into consideration. Head of the Judges Club, Councillor Ahmed Zind, had said members of the Judges Club and members of the General Prosecution will begin an open-ended sit-in until the Shura Council holds discussion of the law. On the other hand, a number of judiciary members and prosecutors called for organizing a protest at the Supreme Judicial Council headquarters next Monday to express their anger at the Shura Council's discussion of the law. The Higher Judiciary Council, on the other hand, announced it is not taking part in the strike. Proposed amendments to the Judicial Authority law were submitted by Wasat Party in April. The bill reduces the retirement age for judges from 70 to 60, which would effectively pension off about a quarter of Egypt's 13,000 serving judges. Proponents of the legislative changes argue that the retirement age had been gradually increased from 60 to 70 by the Mubarak regime in an effort to prolong the terms of pro-regime judges. The judges had proposed holding a justice conference to abort the crisis to the welcome of the presidency, but then went back on the proposal in objection to the Shura Council's discussion of the amendments. Prominent Wasat Party figure Dr. Assam Sultan objected to what he said was the judges' attempt to allow an infringement by the administrative authority to the legislative authority, stressing that the president cannot force the legislature to suspend discussion of the judicial authority law.
Quick reminder, ladies and gentlemen, of the latest developments. Now, the presidency has said that the upper house of parliament, which has been ruled invalid by the country's top court, will maintain its legislative powers until a new parliament is elected. It also said that the constitution would remain the country's governing text, even after the same court deemed that the panel that drafted it was illegitimate. And joining me for tonight's discussion is Dr. Rizk, a political analyst. A very good evening to you. And also Dr. Rizk, Islamic thinker. Very good evening, Doctor.
Evening.
Pleasure having you gentlemen with us. Let's start off by today's statements, Dr. Shaker, if I may, by the presidency today, saying that the court ruling again is not binding. Basically, it says that the Shura Council will continue to carry out its duties. How did you see that particular statement?
Well, I think this is one of the establishments of the country freely elected by people, and this is the second house of the parliament. If it is sort of dissolution to it, will end the whole institution, which is the country, the government, the presidency, every part of the country. We will have no country then.